do this here. Turn. There we go. All right. So hopefully everything's okay. Video's okay. Audio's okay. Hopefully everybody's doing great. Everybody's doing fantastic. Today's July 13th here. And it's a holiday. What is it? Asanha Bucha Day today. For some people, it's a long weekend. It's a Wednesday. Let's see. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about moving to Thailand now. Now versus in the past. Why do people move to Thailand? But before I go any further, allow me to thank my members, my YouTube members: Carnival Chronicles, Dowlow, CJ Digital Life, Andy Stubbs, Vixter, Puya, Paris, Parsian, Mr. Mitch, Aaron, L. Mims, John S., Tokyo Sam's, Carlos, David Alexander, Stephen K., Fire Dude, Beeson, John From, Ryan, Patrick, Troy, JRD, Richard Gallagher. I don't know what happened to Richard. He hasn't been around lately. Raymond Suwan, S. Carroll, Patia Bob, of course Patia Bob, Two Minds, Mr. Allen, Tim Mays, Johnny Siam, thank you very much, Mindy Corican, Mike, Charles, Lee, Tony, Henry, LH, Jim, and SK. So there you are. Thank you very much to all of you guys. Appreciate it. Soy Dog, how's it going? Jim, how you doing? Thank you to Gennaro, Carl. Who else was I going to say? Richard. There you go, Richard. Thank you to Mr. Richard and also Dimitri. And let me think if I can figure out anybody else here. Trying to think without looking. Mr. Tom. Thank you, Mr. Tom. Thank you. Let's see here. Okay, I got a few more. I want to give them their credit when due. Mr. David, Mr. Ralph, and also Mr. Lane. Is that it? Yeah, I guess that's it. That's all of them. So for now, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And for those who are just joining, please, Carl, how you doing, buddy? Where are you? For those just joining for the first time or they haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe, click the notification bell, click the thumbs up if you like the stream and you like the videos and all that kind of stuff. Spread the word, share the video, join. I'm trying to get to 40 members. I'm stuck at 38. I really need the 2 more, and then I'll go for 50. But I'm trying. It's only $1.99. So, and you get a few things here and there, you know. So that's good, and you get recognized for what that's worth. So, are you moving? You're in New York now. Oh, okay. Well, say hello to Soy Dog Cowboy, because I don't know if he's in New York, but he might be. He's a fellow New Yorker. But, you know, this stream goes out to the people who are considering moving to Amazing Thailand. And whether the move is temporary or permanent, there are many reasons to come here to make the move, and a few reasons where maybe you don't want to. For tourists, the country is a welcome relief and a new start and home for thousands of expats thousands and thousands and thousands. Uh, However, there are other countries offering lower costs and attractive long stay programs with less restrictions. And I think that while Thailand is still a great place to come, they're facing a lot of competition around the world, and they're going to have to take that into consideration in the future. So that's where I stand on it. But there are a lot of things that we can talk about with this because, as Alex said to me yesterday, you know, all it takes is one thing to leave a bad taste in someone's mouth. Whether it's on a YouTube channel, whether it's a country and the attitude of, say, the government, or some bad incident, some incident happened that rubbed the person the wrong way, and that's it. They're like, that's it, I'm no more. And what he said to me, which I didn't even think of, was, you mean like Black Canyon coffee? And if you don't know what that means, many years ago, my wife and I went to Black Canyon Coffee in the mall Bangkok. There's nobody in the place. She and I are sitting there. We place our order. She gets her meal. It was a bit slow. Everybody's standing around, you know, they're on their phones, they're laughing and joking, but there's nobody in the place. She gets her order. She eats. She's finished with her order. She finished her meal. Where's my meal? Bapning. You know, give me a second. Let me check. They go back and check, and, you know, 10 minutes later they come out with this rather, I'll say, silly look on their face. Oh, sorry, we forget. So I'm like, cancel it. So I write to I'm pissed. Because, you know, it's like there's nobody in the place. Now, I don't know if I would do this now, but back then I did. I wrote to the headquarters of Black Canyon Coffee. And I said, what the hell's going on here? And they said, you know, this was the headquarters in the United States. Or wherever it was. I think it was the United States. They write me back and they said, you know, we're really sorry that you've had this experience. However, the Black Canyon over there is completely different from our Black Canyon. They just bought the name, but we have nothing to do with running it. You need to talk to the Thais there. Unfortunately, we've had many instances just like this, and nothing is ever done. I'm sorry, but I think you're wasting your time. So I said, I'll never go back there again. And, you know, there's a couple of times when I'm like, there's nowhere open, but there's a Black Canyon Coffee. Maybe I'll go in there. You know, it's really convenient. It's right here. And I go, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do it. And I have never gone back. And so there are people who are that strong-minded about a country. When somebody says, oh, let's blame it on the filthy farang, or let's raise the price of, or let's charge more for a hotel room for foreigners than Thais, that rubs some people the wrong way, enough to where they go, I don't need this place. They need me. And that's the truth. Thailand needs the tourists. They you know, just think about it. 2 years ago, they were crying for the tourist. Please help us. You know, and they were asking expats to travel around and to spend their money. They need the money. Now, they're also catering or courting the high dollar people, and they flat out said, you know, we want the high dollar people. We're not interested in the backpackers and all these other people, which is what their bread and butter is. And so I think, you know, some of these things may have an effect, at least in the short term. It pisses people off. But some people will let it go. You know, they'll just let it go on and on. They'll let it fester. And they will say, you know, like me, with the Black Canyon Coffee. I don't have any, you know, I don't begrudge the company. But I do not want to go to a place where that kind of thing happens. And then if it happens once, maybe it'll happen again. And there's enough of the problems here with the jet ski scams and the dual pricing in places and that kind of thing. That doesn't mean it's not a great place to come. or to live. But what I'm saying is there are some people who will look at some of these things and go, why do I need to go? I'll go to Ibiza. You know, they're in Europe. They're going, it's cheaper. I'll have a great time. My buddies are going there. They don't, you know, for whatever reason, they don't want to go to Thailand. So there are other places. And I think that, you know, the sex industry aside, you know, Thailand has a lot of things to offer. But so do a lot of other places. And people are finding that out. And now, I think people are more careful with their money. You know, yes, people are coming back here. The tourists are coming back. But what I saw in Phuket the other day, a lot of those people were Indian tourists. Now, say what you will about them. You know, I don't know if they're cheap, how they spend. I don't know. I don't believe they're going high end. I don't believe those are the high end tourists that Thailand is after. The same goes with the Chinese. I don't believe those are the ones who are the high end tourists. And so they're going to get what they're going to get, and it's as simple as that. They're not going to just turn around. I've said this before. They're not going to turn around and turn a Volkswagen Bug into a Ferrari. And despite what people think, you know, there are a lot of dirty places here that shouldn't be dirty. There are a lot of situations that occur that should never occur. I mean, you know, you got taxi drivers willing to kill somebody over 10, 20 baht. You got taxi drivers trying to rip people off. You got these kind of things. Now, granted, you know, it's just like the bad apple. This doesn't happen all the time. The Thai people are good people. For the most part. Of course, there's good and bad in everyone. But when it does happen, guess what? It goes out in the news and people see it all around. That's what they see. So, it gives you something to think about. And, the bottom line, as I said before, is that Thailand has to be a value. If it's not a value, why would anybody come here? Why would somebody fly halfway around the world, even to go to some, to some nightlife area, some, red light district here? I mean, granted, if you go to Vegas, the prices are going to be a lot more expensive for that kind of thing than in Thailand. But, there are places that you can go that they're not that expensive, and then you don't have the added cost of flying and doing this and, paying for the ticket, paying for, the hotels and all that kind of thing. So, I mean, eventually it's going to even out if they keep raising their prices. I am personally not impressed with the traditional tourist areas in Thailand. However, I really appreciate living here, especially up here where people are more authentic. Jim, you get authentic people everywhere. Really. We got neighbors that come over and give us fruit and give us food or, look out for us. And, there are people, even in like places like the mall where they're trying to make money. It's about the money. And the people are generally pretty good, to, at least to me. I mean, and to like my family and stuff. From what I see, they're very good. When you go out into the countryside, I think you're more of an anomaly. And so it seems like you're really special to the people, which is, I think that's nice. It's nice when people treat each other well. And that's how you're treated by most people here. Good morning, Gennaro. How you doing? No, I don't live in a tourist area, and there's a reason why I don't, and why I generally don't like to travel to a tourist area. Now, Phuket was, obviously I just came back from there a couple days ago. I gotta say, and I'm going to talk about this in a video, but one of the things that turns me off about Phuket, well, there's two things, and somebody mentioned this in a comment. And that is food prices. Street food prices tend to be quite a bit higher, or a fair bit higher, even, than they are here in Bangkok. the average guy goes down the street, here, and you get something for 40, 50 baht. Even 30 baht sometimes. You get, it depends on what you're buying. But you go to, this is a non-caffeinated espresso. I fell off the wagon like a day later, Pierre. But it is an espresso. So one is the food. When you go and you're going to get some chicken, and it's 100 baht for a half a chicken here, or 120 baht for a chicken here, it's going to be 250 there. You go down the street and you get something here for 20 baht. Down there, it might be 40 baht. Now, a good example about a place that is a very good value still is Kanchanaburi. If you remember, I went to Kanchanaburi, a couple weeks ago, and I got a coconut. Coconut's 40 baht. Guess what? Bangkok's 40 baht also. 35, 40 baht. Depends on the market. Well, not really. No, I'm not on an espresso strike. How's everything going there with you, Longhorns? You will never be 2/4 Asian to me. You will always be Longhorns. I don't know why, but you just seem like a Longhorns. How did everything go with your sleeping thing? Pad Krapal. How did I? Janara, I hate to say it again, but Pad Krapal is so not me. I don't like it. It's not one of my favorites. Very, very easy to cook. And you know what? Right now, I don't know what it is, but my stomach can't handle anything spicy. And I could make Pad Krapal and tell them, oh, don't make it spicy at all, and it would still affect my stomach. So, Pad Krapal is off the menu forever. Well, I guess I should never say, forever. Had a hard time falling asleep, bummed. Hope I slept enough for the data. Yeah, I'd like to see how that turns out, actually. But anyway, let's get the negatives out of the way. We've talked about these before. If you watched before, some of them, like pollution and traffic. But where is pollution and traffic in a big city? Where is that not so prevalent? I mean, yeah, there are some places, but let's face it. You go to a lot of places, a lot of big cities. There's gonna be pollution. There's gonna be traffic. So what's the solution? Get out of the big city. And if you go even to like Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, well, then you got the burning season, and you're going to have pollution. When 2/4 Asian and I went to Hua Hin in October of last year. Richard, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Choke D to you. You are the first, so thank you. Appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that super chat button, that join button, the PayPal button, whatever, the shirt button. Well, this shirt, thank you, Carlos, for this shirt. I love this shirt, not necessarily because it says FBI, but it's so comfortable. It's very, very comfortable. The sizing is right. The material is right. Every once in a while you get one of those T-shirts and you go, hey, this feels great. Talking about T-shirts, I've been looking for the Pima cotton T-shirts. They're hard to find to be able to sell like with a design on. A little bit hard to find. And they're a little pricier, but I love that Pima cotton. It's very good. Anyway, now, those are two things that are, they happen anywhere. Red tape is another thing. Although I think Thailand's gotten a lot better. If you were here many years ago, what was the name? What is it? Not Suan Luang. I can't even remember. Let me see here if I can remember it real quick. Olds. Suan Plu, I think. Yeah. Suan Plu. Okay. Back in the day, the immigration department was not at Chiang Wat Tana. It was in Suan Plu. If you went in there And you didn't get there like really early. It was an absolute madhouse. It was chaos. You had people from all over the world sitting in one big room. There was no air conditioning. It was just a fan. It sucked. Then you'd go upstairs and imagine some 1960s schoolroom with the immigration officer sitting there. And when you walked in, they would be like, yes, you know, because they were dealing with foreigners from all over the world, and they just basically, it seemed like they just threw everybody in a pot and they drew from the pot. Now it's a little bit different the way they handle things, and that's good. But it was an absolute nightmare. It was such a pain in the neck. Every time you went, it was a full day. Now if you go, if you're smart, you can get in and out of there in less than half a day, even 2-3 hours sometimes. By the time you sit there, you go in, you get everything taken care of. So they've kind of shored things up when it comes to red tape. But again, there's red tape all over the world, and that's something we got to deal with. Now, one thing here is political instability. That's always something we kind of got to worry about. But you know what? Even when there are problems here, the problems are not generally foreigner problems. No, it's a basketball, Gennaro. They are not foreigner problems. These, and you could go out, and I mean, I have photos. I took photos, a large number of photos back in the day when the coups happened, where foreigners and it would go out on the street. Now they would not let some people go out into the areas that were off limits. If you had your media pass, you could go. So I was kind of lucky with that, but. Some of the places there were tanks and soldiers, and the people were like, "Oh, selfie! Let me take a selfie. Let me get up on the tank." And the Thais were pretty good. They're not like in other places. I mean, listen, you could say what you want about the police in the United States, and they have a tough job, but you think about it. They really do have a tough job. But they wouldn't be allowing some of this stuff. "Oh, can I get a selfie with you, sir?" They'd be like, "Stand back." That's what it seems like to me. So things are not that bad, even when they are bad here. Unless you're out in the middle of the protest, then they can be kind of nasty. Now, the one thing that really could set people off is what I was talking about earlier, is the government attitude towards foreigners. I think for the most part, the Thai government is actually pretty decent, but with what they come out in the media with what the media comes out with, the information from immigration, sometimes I wonder, are they just like trolling people? Are they trying to mess with people and just see? And I've always said, oh, they throw something up on the wall. Well, they need to stop that. They need to think something out really well and then just come out with it. Hey, this is how it's going to be. Not we're contemplating instituting a 300 baht fee. Oh, now we're going to delay it. Oh, now we're going to suspend it. Oh, who's going to be involved? Nobody knows. All this kind of stuff. But that said, Cambodia came out with the 10-year digital visa. And guess what? There's no real specifics. Bali came out with a 5-year visa. No specifics. I haven't seen any of them come out with any specifics yet. So, in some cases Thailand does a little bit better, but yeah, they need a let's just hold this and proof it and edit it and go over it again and again and again and again and again. And then when we're absolutely sure, we'll wait a day and we'll go and we'll do it again. One thing, when I was doing a lot of writing, one thing that I always did was I would write. I would wait until the next morning when I was fresh, because that's always when I'm the most fresh. Because I wake up early in the morning. I'd wake up early in the morning, boom, and I'd look at everything, and then I'd make the changes, and then I'd let it sit if I could, and then that evening I would look it over again and do a final revision. They need to do... you're talking about things that affect the entire country. So I think they really need to be a little bit more careful. And the thing also, they're very careful about their reputation with foreigners and with the outside world, their tourism. They are very careful that people don't do something they try to be. And yet they come out with their own information that makes them look like a bunch of jackasses. I mean, let's face it. Yeah, Anaton is, he's the main culprit at this point in time. So that's a big downer. Now, guess what? It's kind of like the news. Unless it's something really important, you know, unless you're a big pot smoker, the new pot smoking rule doesn't affect anybody. Doesn't matter to most people. Their digital nomad visa. Yeah, they'll get a little interest in the beginning, but over time, that's going to wane. People are going to go, man, I'm not doing this. It's too much of a pain in the neck. That's what I think. Okay? I said it the other day, and I actually responded to somebody on Twitter, which I don't usually do, because I don't want to get into this tit for tat. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. I didn't want to get into all that. And I said, this dual pricing for the hotels. First of all, my wife said it, which that gives me a reason to go and, you know, I feel more certain of what I'm thinking because she's involved in the industry. And I said, it's never going to happen. And then I started thinking about it. And I'm like, you think Hilton, Hyatt, Sheraton, all these international chains are going to allow dual pricing here? No. You think they're going to allow, well, you're Thai, so you get a 25% discount. They're not going to allow it. It's not going to happen. And so on Twitter, this guy was going, oh, you know, they have all these ways that they can discount things. And I go, listen, buddy, it ain't going to happen. And sure enough, they shot it down. The hotel associations shot it down. They're like, no. The government can tell them to do whatever they want. That doesn't mean that they have to. They're not going to. But they shouldn't have said it. That's the thing. She said it's never going to happen. She said cannot. They'd have to overhaul their system to do it, to have, you know, a Thai and then foreigner. And then it would be like, well, what about the foreigner who's an expat who has a, you know, a batpachachon or something? You know. Well, then what? And not only that, it's discriminatory. It's not, you can say what you want about it. Hey, you know, I look at it like this. If I don't want to serve somebody in my little cake shop, I don't have to. It's my shop. But when it comes to a big hotel chain, it affects their reputation around the world. It could cost them millions of dollars. You know, people go, I know how they are. I'm not going to pay them any money. So that's something else. Anyway, thankfully that has not happened yet. Although neither has the 300 baht entry fee. They haven't said anything more about that. They haven't put down the guidelines for that. In my opinion, I think what they're going to do is they're going to come out with it and they're going to say at the end of this month, it's going to start being, you know, we're going to start instituting this policy and it's going to be for everybody. I don't know that they'll do it just for foreigners because I think, again, that's going to be very difficult. It's not necessarily difficult. It's just going to create an extra step, and people don't want that. People want, listen, you think about it. Nowadays, people don't need more shit in their head. They don't need more things to think about. They don't. I certainly don't. I got enough to think about. Really. You know, sometimes I have nothing to think about, but most of the time I got a lot of things that I got to deal with, I got to think about. Nobody wants that extra step. Oh, well, you know, I'm going to have to pay extra because okay, if you're an expat, then what? You got to pay then? I live here with my family, so I raise a family here, and yet I got to pay to get in, but the Thais don't. You know, I mean, you can say whatever you want. You can go, oh, it's only this much money. No, it's not. You know what? It's not about the money. Because if you let them do this, if people say, okay, it's not a problem, then what happens in the future, they do it over and over and over again. And they're showing that. They try to do that all the time. And that is one thing that I think, Thailand needs to make it, as Jim was saying earlier, it needs to be authentic across the board. When you come to Thailand, you get the land of smiles. People are smiling at you because they're happy to see you because, hey, you're enjoying our country. Now, I would say the majority of people do think that way, but there are, in the tourist areas, I can't tell you how many times. It doesn't happen to me too much anymore, and maybe I don't notice it, or I just don't care. But I can remember coming here and looking at something and going, "Oh, how much is this? Can you tell me how much it is?" And maybe they're just sick and tired of foreigners coming and asking how much it is, and they're not buying it. But maybe what does that say? Lower your price. Lower your price. I'm not obligated. This is the thing. I'm not obligated to buy something just because I look at it. That's not how it works. But yet sometimes they do believe that. Now, what I was going to say, the other thing in Phuket that was, besides food prices, that's a bit of a turnoff. And I have to say that, by the end of the trip, I was ready to come home. And it was only 3 days. But we were ready to come home. My wife was like, it's a little boring. It's the same old, same old. We need to go and do something, do some little adventure. As opposed to just going out to eat, going for walks, in the city, seeing how things are going, going to a coffee shop, chilling out. Okay, that's nice. But after a while, you can do that anywhere. It's boring. But the other thing that really rubbed me a bit the wrong way is the prices of transportation. Now, fortunately, we figured out that if you use InDriver, it's quite a bit cheaper than Grab. And I think it might have been Gennaro who was saying, have the prices of Grab gone up? And when I said, no, I don't think they've gone up, I don't know that they had gone up at that point, or that I just hadn't noticed because maybe I was using InDriver, I don't know. But in Phuket, it was like, if you want to go somewhere, and it's like, to go from, what was it, Kalim down to Patong Beach, 458 baht. You take InDriver, it was 100 baht, 120 baht. You want to take a motorcycle, it was like 45 baht. And guess what? Grab, their motorcycle prices were just the same percentage higher as their car prices. Then I looked at the prices here. Now, I don't usually take a Grab to the mall, but I know if I use the guy down the street, it's 30 baht. If there's nobody down there and I really need to get to, let's say, to the mall, for argument's sake. Good morning, Dallo. Yes, we made it back safe and sound. The house isn't burned down. We're all right. But the price to go to the mall, Bangkok, by Grab car, it's like 250 baht. I'm like, I can walk there in 15, 20 minutes. I can take a motorbike for 30 baht. I can get a motorbike on InDriver for 41 baht. If I take the Grab, it's like 54 baht. So Grabs, their prices, and fuel prices are one thing that is hitting Thai people rather hard. Fuel prices, fertilizer, all these kind of things are starting to really affect the economy here. And so, some of the places like Grab, they've raised their prices dramatically. And that's something in Phuket that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. When we came, we took a minivan, and it was 180 baht each. 360 baht for both of us. We took a InDriver car, back to the airport. It was 350 baht. We didn't have to share it with anybody. It's just me and my wife. We didn't have to share it with anybody. And if you're going to go from the airport into somewhere down Patong Beach, Katu, wherever it is, Kalim, uh, I would recommend InDriver. But I want to do a comparison because I also looked at the prices with Bolt when I came back, and I, that's something that you really need to think about. And here in Bangkok, it's pretty easy to get around inexpensively. In Phuket, not so much. So that's something there. But anyway, let's go on. I digress. Now, especially for people under the age of 50, staying in Thailand long term is not all that easy unless you want to plop down a chunk of money. Yeah, you can get yourself an ED visa, you can do something like that, but you know, that is not going to help you if you're trying to move here and you say, listen, I'm done, I want to move there, and that's it. It's a permanent move. Having to come here and renew your visa, every 3 months, even every year is a pain. But to set things in stone and say I'm going to live here permanently, it's not the most conducive for the expat. Bolt cheaper than Grab? Yes. Bolt is also slightly more expensive than InDriver. So far, it seems InDriver is the cheapest, the least expensive of all of them. It's slightly more cheaper than Bolt, and quite a bit. Both are quite a bit cheaper than Grab at the moment. But anyway, the visa issue, it's not real difficult, but for some people, they might find it a bit of a pain, and it may require more money than they have or they're willing to part with. So that's something else. That could be considered a negative. When there are other places that you can get into, and for a song and a dance, basically, you can live there. Let's see here. Now, another one, and I'm not going to say too much about these two. Let's see, are there any other ones? One is the treatment of animals and the environment here. I think things are a little bit better, but not much. And if somebody is, a big animal lover and they really want to think about it and they want to travel all over the country, they're bound to see things that they don't like. I never liked that tiger temple, which is now closed. It's been closed for years now. And I never really liked the crocodile farm. And there was another place I went, I don't remember the name of it, but they had, the orangutans doing, boxing each other. And, I don't know. Let the animals let the animals live their life and at least provide a decent environment for them. You want to put them in a zoo, okay, but give them some land. Make sure you got the land. And I know it's not easy, but then guess what? That means there's a limited number of zoos. Maybe there should be a limited number of zoos. Anyway, that's one thing. Another one is the cluelessness, the outright cluelessness of the Thai government. And it's not only the Thai government. Listen, the United States, and sometimes I think they're not clueless. They know what's happening. They just don't care. They want what they want. They want to do things the way they want to do things, and they don't care if you like it or not. That's how it goes. All right, so let's not kid ourselves. It may not be the cluelessness of the government. Also, in terms of freedom, if you really want to look at it, now most people don't get real involved in anything that's going to get them in trouble here, but in terms of freedom, the what is it? Reporters for Journalism. What the hell is it called? I always forget this. No. RGM, is that what it is? let's see here. RSF, Reporters Without Borders. They every year for many years they rate countries in terms of their freedom. And Thailand dropped this year dropped 30 points, and the rating remains not free. Now that's journalistically. You can say what you want, you know. You can to me when I walk around, I go, hey, you know, nobody bugs me. I'm free. I do what I want, you know, for the most part. But you do have to be a little bit careful, and I think we all know what that means and what, you know, true freedom. It's rare to see that anywhere, even in the United States. Yeah, there are organizations for stray dogs and cats and all that kind of stuff, but it's just a general way that many Thai people seem to treat their animals. I mean, we tend to treat our, other than yelling at Sid to get out of my room and stop scratching up my sofa, you know, I think we treat him and all our other animals, I think we've treated them very, very well. And, you know, but there are some people who they don't believe that the animals deserve to be treated well. Yeah, you know, that's something, you know, you get that in a lot of places, you know, stray dogs, they're always a problem. But you go to the wrong place, man. I mean, you know, I told you that story when I was doing that walk where it was like 3:30 in the morning, because that's when I would start walking, around 3 o'clock. 3:30 I'd get up. And I'm walking along and it's raining, it's drizzling. And I'm just walking. I'm like, I'm not going to stop. And all of a sudden I hear these barks. And I'm like, oh, they're behind the fence. Well, they were behind the fence. And the fence was closed on one end, but it was open on the other. The two dogs, they were big dogs. Kind of like Rottweiler mixes. And they came out and tried to attack me. And, you know, I was kind of lucky because I didn't have a stick. I was kicking at them and screaming at them and making noises, you know. I was lucky. And then I got the stick. So, you know, having a stick with you can definitely help. That or one of those zappers when you just push a button and all of a sudden you hear the sound of electricity. That'll scare them off too. Anyway. Yeah, in the West, many treat animals as family member. Here, they have a defined role. Well, I don't know, Jim. I think that people still... I understand what you're saying, but you know, there are some people here, and we're an example of them. There are some people who genuinely love their animals, and they treat them like part of the family. However, like with our dog, where it was exorbitantly expensive to put him down, they don't want you to put him down. They believe you don't put your animal down, you know, you let them die a natural death, which is painful. And to me, I thought that's a bit, insensitive. Well, you know, listen, I've done that as well. I didn't have a rock in my hand, and I actually have had times when I had a rock in my hand and, you know, thrown it towards them, not at them, because I don't want to, like, you know, it's like the bird thing where you got a slingshot. Oh, I want to try out my slingshot. And you try the slingshot out, and then you hit the bird, and you go, oh, the bird is dead now. I killed it. I don't want to do something like that. But, on the other hand, I don't want to get bit by some stray, you know, by any dog. Listen, we were at a place this past weekend, and the guy had a dog. And the dog was very insecure. If the guy was around, then the dog was very mellow. But if the guy left and he wasn't there, the dog was very insecure. and that's when dogs bite. So you got to be careful. Anyway, let's go on with this here because I don't want to get off the subject too much. All right, so what did I say? All right, so to wrap it up, some of the negatives: political instability, the government's attitude towards foreigners, uh, pollution, traffic, the cluelessness of the government. They're out of touch. But these things could be pretty much anywhere. The treatment of animals and the treatment of the environment, not just animals, but the environment. They've gotten better over the years. I will say that. The red tape, which is another thing that's pretty much everywhere. And again, I think they've gotten better. But the visa, the ability to live here and set up a permanent life, especially if you're under the age of 50, has gotten more difficult and more expensive. You got the money, listen, you got the money, you can do just about anything. And then last but not least, the freedom here in Thailand is rated as not free. So now let me see something here. Now you can take it for what it's worth, but the Reporters Without Borders is pretty respected when it comes to this kind of stuff. You know, they don't. It doesn't seem to me like they play favorites. So I would say, hey, if that's what they say, then maybe they got a point. But for most people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that much. They don't care. It doesn't affect their life. So, you know, if you're a journalist or you're a photographer or you're in politics, and obviously it's going to affect you. More than somebody who's a retiree. Well, road safety goes with traffic, but yeah. But even, Thailand used to be the most dangerous place in the world to drive. It is not the most dangerous, but it is one of the most dangerous now. So that's, All right, so let's go on here. Now, why do people move here? With all those negatives, why do you want to live there? The cost of living is a big one. For what you get, the value for your cost of living is quite good. And I forget who I was talking to the other day about this. But, for the money, you get a lot more here than you get back in the States, man. So that's a big one. Now, we can't continue this list without bringing up the nightlife and the ladies of the evening, the women, the scene. That's obviously a very big one for a lot of men. They want to come, and I think honestly, some guys, they're looking to come and have a good time. They want to party. They want to do things they can't do back in their own country. Some get a little too carried away. Let's see here. Now, the landscape, the physical landscape of Thailand is quite nice. There's mountain ranges, forested mountain ranges. There's dry areas, such as in Isan, the rice fields. There's river plains, there's sandy beaches, and then of course there's the concrete jungle. So the landscape is pretty diverse. And I think, that's great because in one country, you can go to a quite a few different places. You can feel like you're in a different country. So I think that's important. What's another reason people come? Jobs. Oh. Only 3. It's pretty good. Jobs, businesses. Some people, they're working a job in, say, New York or Ohio somewhere, and they get transferred, or they get the choice. Hey, where do you want to transfer? You've been here a long time, and they say, okay, Thailand. I want to go to Thailand. Now that's a great gig, you know. Uh, I know one guy, a British guy, who's been here many, many years. I've seen his kid grow up. He used to go to Starbucks all the time. The old Starbucks, not the one that I usually stream from, but before that, when it was in front of the grocery store. It was just a little place. There weren't 3 Starbucks in the mall. There was just one. Things were quite a bit different. And I met him there, and his wife would come in, and their little boy would come in. He was like, I don't know, he was maybe 7 or 8 years old. And now the kid is, like 19 or 20. He's always walking around. He's like 6 foot tall. At the time, he was about 4 foot, 4'10" or something when I first saw him. Now he's like 6 foot, 6'2". Mother and father look the same to me. So he got transferred over here, and he's been working here for many, many years, and he loves it. He's got a good gig, man. He's set up here. Not everybody is so lucky, or not everybody is able to get a gig like that. So that's another reason why people come. Also, there are some people who they want to come because they're really interested in the culture and the people and the way things are done here, which is part of the culture. But there are some people, listen, not everybody wants to come here and, go party in Pattaya or go out and, hit the bars and that kind of thing. There are some people who actually, I get messages from people, I don't care about all that, I don't need that. I just want to hang out, have a good time, relax, read a book, drink a beer, that kind of thing. Listen, if you want something scary, go to that Three Whales, Three Whales Rock or whatever in Bangkok. That place was really gnarly because it's the kind of place where you can walk up to, they have a line. You can walk up to the line. And of course, there are Thais that are always like going past the line. They're sitting there, getting their selfie. All it takes is maybe you go a little too far. And there's a little sand that blew there. And you slip. There is nothing to grab onto. There's no way you're going to grab anything. You're done. You're, I don't know what it was, 2,000 feet up in the air, and you're going to fall, and you are going to die probably mid-air from a heart attack. So, anyway, that is a good thing that, the geography is quite beautiful here. And that, I think, is actually, the guys want to come here because they're like, I can go to the bars and I'm gonna get laid and I'm gonna have fun. Okay, that's a big reason. Yeah, all right, but it's not the only reason. And one of the other reasons is that the geography here, topography is quite diverse. You can go hiking, you can go kayaking, you can go swimming out in the ocean, you can hang out on the islands, you can go down a river. There's all kinds of things you can do. So, that's a big reason why people want to come here. Now, I always talk about this, but the good infrastructure. Financially, aside from a few banks that were downgraded the other day, which I meant to talk about, maybe I'll do a video on that. The financial infrastructure is quite good. The transportation infrastructure is also quite good. I don't want a freaking car here because I don't want to drive in Bangkok. I don't care what anybody says. I don't want to. The most that I would probably do is have a little motorbike and and drive it to the mall or whatever. Well, why? I don't need it. That's the thing. I haven't needed a car. I've lived all over, and I don't need one. As long as you got a little scratch, you got a little change in your pocket, a little dough, you can get around anywhere. Not a problem. So I like that. And then I like the fact that the one thing that Thailand definitely is doing well, they're doing it very well, is they're setting up their, at least in Bangkok, they're setting up their transportation network to be extremely good. Every time I see the monorail, it's got more and more work done. It's getting closer and closer to being finished. It connects up with 6 different lines. There's the canal boat, the canal taxi that connects up now with the electric boats. Hopefully they'll get with the program and they'll just go electric all the way, because those boats are the bomb. They're so quiet. And if you've seen what comes out of the back of the diesel boats, the diesel boat taxis on the canals or on the Chao Phraya, if you see what comes out of the back end of them, that's what comes out's got to go somewhere, and it's not going down a toilet. The canal is the toilet. So that those electric boats, and there's 2 lines, and I've been meaning to go to another one, to the other one, and we'll see what that's like, but I know it's going to be similar. It's going to be good. It'll be nice, and I think that's a good thing. So, they've got the one of my favorite methods of transportation, if I need it, which I don't usually, is the City Link. If I've got just one little bag and I want to go to the airport, it's pretty easy. I just get right, boom, I can take a boat, go down the way a little bit. Now the boat prices, canal boat prices have gone up. It used to be 19 baht to go the entire distance. I think they've gone up 3 baht. It's not that much. But, prices are going up here, but the value is still here. If the government has its way and they start courting all these people who are paying big money, but why haven't they come before? You know why? Because there's a reason. They have other places they'd rather go. They want to come here. They come here. They're here a couple of days. They're here a week, and they get out of Dodge. Simple as that. All right, what else do we got here? So the infrastructure is very important. It's very good. If you want to live in Bangkok, which, we live in Bangkok for a variety of reasons, but basically because our kids go to school. My wife's job is based here, and, so it's important for the time being to be here. Now, say what you will. This is another thing, and I don't know if this is the right way to put it. But you can say what you will about this place, and, I don't like this, I don't like that. And guess what? This place still beats damn near anywhere in the world. You can say it's dirty, but then if I'm streaming from Kokut, you gonna tell me it's so dirty? No, it's a beautiful beach. It's a beautiful island with beautiful beaches, lots to do. Wonderful place. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna do? So, I don't know that I would say it doesn't have an equal. There are other places, and that is something I'm gonna do a video about. I've got a long list of videos I got to knock out. In addition to the Phuket videos and I think I still have a Kanchanaburi and a Surat video left to do. I can't edit them fast enough. I take too much footage and then I don't like half the footage, and then next thing I know, I passed everything up. That's another reason here. The medical care here is generally very good. And the value is good. So that's another thing, right? What is this? Not for the money, geography, food, etc. I don't understand that. It has no equal, not for the money, geography, food, etc. Okay. It is all relative to each person's personal views. Jim, I kind of look at like you are in the honeymoon phase. You may have been married to a Thai for a long time, but I think that you'll see that after, say, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, your views of the country will change a little bit. I mean, I love this place, and I think it's been great in some ways for me, and it's been, there's been a few things that haven't been so good, but for the most part, it's been great. But my view has changed over the years. Maybe yours won't. Maybe other people's don't. I don't know. I would say most people that I know, over time, their opinion kind of changes. It morphs into something different. You start to see, it's just like anywhere else. You start to see the country, warts and all. In the beginning, it's, you might see them, but you might not realize just how pronounced they are. And, I think it takes a little bit of time. I always bring up Jono. Jono is basically in his own little bubble. He set himself up like that. He wants to be in his own little bubble, and he is. And he's very happy. I don't know that I can't remember. He told me he went somewhere a couple of months ago. And I think it was the first time he's really went out of his little bubble in quite some time. And that's how a lot of people are. Now I have to push myself a little bit because I don't really feel the need. Because I've been to a lot of places here. I've seen a lot of things. Doesn't mean I'm not going to see something new. Like, listen, I went to Phuket. Phuket can be a little bit boring to me, to my wife. Been there, done that. I lived there. Obviously, now is not the same as then, back then. But guess what? I found a great massage parlor that cleaned my feet really well. I think it takes a little bit of time to figure out things here. And that's something that there's some people, they come here and they just don't. I mean, Jim, I think you have a good attitude towards, your life here. And, you're just like that. You're like Mike and Rye. Hey, great. Not everybody is like you. I can tell you that right now. There are a lot of people who I've seen and who I've talked to. And why do they got to do it this way? I don't like that. I don't understand. It's so stupid. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Okay, I get it. Yeah. Not everything is going to be like back home. It's just not. And the sooner you realize that, then the sooner you're going to be able to go, might have been right. So, I think those things are, that's something that's very important to remember. The whole keep an open mind when you travel and all that kind of stuff. But I think, like I always say, coming here as a tourist, hey, come here for a couple of weeks. This is a fantastic place. You want to do your thing with the ladies. You want to go out and get drunk. Okay, it's a little more expensive than back in the day, but what place isn't more expensive? You know what, Jim? I would like to say that that's true because, you bring with you whatever baggage you have. However, there are some people who, I don't know that he's a great example of it, but Jono told me, listen, I got out right at the right time because the whole PC movement was starting to happen, and he's in the middle of it, and he's like, I don't want to have to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble and maybe, ruin my pension or ruin this or ruin that. I don't want that. So when he came over here, it was, he was miserable there in some ways. you're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable anywhere. I mean, if you're a miserable person, you're going to be miserable. But yeah, exactly. You're miserable there because, you know, you're like, shit, I'm paying more. I don't have as much fun, you know, and it's not as chilled. Everything's a little more in your face. But if you come here and you know, you're just trying to get away from certain things. I was never really, honestly, when I came over here, it was before the PC movement. There was no PC. I mean, maybe there was, and you know, I didn't know about it, and it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't out. You know, there wasn't this cancel culture, PC. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say this. There was none of that. You know, cellular phones were not a big deal. I mean, you know, I still had the big Motorola cell phone. You know, the big ones. I mean, they were, you know, that big. No, they were about that big and about that fat. You know, the big dull black with the buttons that turn like a yellowish green. And, you know, so back then when I decided, I was like, hey, you know, I just need, this is another reason. You want to come here for an adventure. Just moving here is an adventure. Really, if you think about it. And again, you know, there's a lot of people that have moved here over the years, and man, I can't even, I don't know, I'd have to make a list. I always say Jono because he's right fairly close to me. But there's been a lot of people that come over here, and you know, it takes time to figure everything out. It takes time to figure out, hey, how is it going to be easy for me just to go to the grocery store? Where am I going to go? Hey, where can I get this? Hey, where can I get that? It really takes a little bit of time. I was in the airport the other day, you know, sitting there with my wife, and I look over, and I think I took a picture. I took a picture of, you know, the area. We're waiting to board, the boarding area. You know, we got our gate there, and, you know, we're sitting near the gate. You know, there's a couple little places to eat and that kind of thing. Everybody's on their phone. All the people's heads are down. And I thought, please, I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be beholden, addicted to my phone. I mean, yeah, so moving here is an adventure in itself. And then you can have a lot of adventures. And, you know, that was something I was talking to my kids about yesterday. How, you know, there's so much to do. If you really sit down and think about it, there's a lot to do. And there are a couple of things that I want to do. They've agreed to help me with. And a couple of things that I know my wife wants to do. She's always into the hikes and that kind of thing. So I think it'll be interesting in the next couple of months to see how things pan out. I always say that, but it'll be interesting to see how Thailand changes with the influx of tourists. To see if they've learned anything, because you know the tourists should be valued. I had a boss a long time ago who said, you know, to get a customer is a lot harder. If you lose a customer, it's what did he say? How did it work? Keeping a customer is easier than getting a new customer. So if Thailand loses some of its tourism to, say, other countries who are becoming, let's face it, Indonesia, Cambodia, places in South America, Ecuador, like I said before, Argentina, and places in Europe, they are, and like Malaysia even. Well, maybe that's what it was. I don't remember. It's been years since he said that. But you have all these places now clamoring for tourists, not to mention expats. And it's great that Thailand has so many resources to draw upon. You know, really, they've got great nightlife, whether it be the red light district or just regular nightlife, you know, just bars and stuff. They have some good nightlife here. I don't know that it's world class in the sense that it is in some areas, or is luxurious. But I think that for some people, this is really the place that has the most to offer at the most reasonable price. And even if that price is going up, they're willing to come here. But again, I think the government needs to be very careful in the information that they release, the pricing that they give out. I really do think that at some point they should just completely do away with the dual pricing. Because why do you want to irritate the very people that you want to bring in? And while I understand in some ways, hey, if you're a local, you get a discount. I understand that. To go into some place like when I went to in Ayutthaya, that I think it was called Ayutthaya Park or something like that. To go on a ride, and there's nobody on the boat. And the guy's like, "Oh, you'll have to pay again." I'm like, "Pay again? I already paid 10 times what the Thais are paying in my entry fee. This is supposed to be free. Why are you charging me?" And I spoke to him in Thai. "Oh, okay. No problem. You know, and this is the mentality, you know, and I understand you got to try to make money. You know, everybody got to make a living. Everybody got to make a buck. So, something to think about. Speaking of making a buck, head over to AmericanInBangkok.com. Go to shop, pick up a shirt, a hat, a mug, whatever, what have you. Or hit the CASHAPP or the PayPal or the Super Chat or the join button, whatever. Do whatever you want. Or just keep watching. That's good too. But subscribe. That would be excellent. One of these days I'm going to hit 15,000 subscribers. I'm not sure when. And one of these days I will hit 40 members. Not sure when. Hopefully before I croak. Anyway, let me read some of this stuff here. There's a couple of things that I was looking at. Now, I don't know if you know, but this is, like I said, this is a holiday. Tomorrow's the Buddhist Lent. Today is Asanaha Bucha Day. Tomorrow is the Buddhist Lent. And then on the 28th, it's the King's birthday. So some people will be taking time off so that they can take an extended holiday. There should be a lot of people coming in and out of this, out of the city. Here's something. 5 major Buddhist precepts that are practiced every day. Not harming living things, not taking what is not given, refraining from sexual misconduct, avoiding telling lies or participating in gossip, abstaining from alcoholic drinks and recreational drugs. Okay, so that's to be a good Buddhist. There will be a ban on the sale of alcohol in stores and restaurants, I guess today and tomorrow, as well as the closure of all pubs and bars in the country, and government offices like the Immigration Department will be closed as well. Well, that's why you got to learn how to read Thai, honestly. Then that way you know, because that does help if you can read it. You go, oh, that's what this means. And sometimes you go, oh, wow, you know, and then they go, okay. Yeah, for a tourist, I mean, forget about it. Most tourists don't have any desire to learn the Thai numbering system or the language, or if they learn Sawadee Kap, like my mother's been here a couple of times, she knows a few words. They need to decide if tourism is not so much or that it's 20% more at times insignificant. I don't know, man. Listen, 8 million in 6 months is not all that good, in my opinion. Now, that may pick up, but I don't think people are running as quickly as some say to get into the country here. I think, yeah, there are some people that they want to get here and everything, but I don't think it's like anywhere near what it used to be. Last time in Krabi, my wife set up our boat snorkeling trip. When we arrived, they charged me twice the amount again. Yeah, I wouldn't pay it. I'd be like, sorry, not gonna do it. See, that's the kind of stuff I'll just do without it. I don't need it. I used to be into scuba diving and snorkeling and all that. I used to really be into it. I've had a collapsed lung twice. And so for me to do anything like that, the scuba diving, I need to go into a chamber, get checked and all that. And I've been there, I've done that. I've been underwater with sharks. I've been underwater with moray eels and fish and barracuda and out in Florida, and it was a lot of fun, and I just don't really need to I don't think they're saying that anymore, that tourism is nothing. They're saying that the tourist numbers and the number of flights has increased quite a bit, and I don't think they're legalizing weed. Sorry, but I don't think they're legalizing weed in order to bring in tourists. And I'll tell you why. A lot of the places that are selling weed, whether it's in Bangkok or in Phuket that I saw, they're not in places where tourists are going to run to. These are not places that tourists go, oh yeah, I know where that is, I'm going to head over there. It's right on Sukhumvit Road. Now, granted, there are some places, but for the most part, that's not why it's set up. The talk about the casino, I don't see the casinos happening for at least another, I don't know, 5-10 years at least, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think. Listen, I'm not for anybody paying more based on their skin color or nationality. I'm really not. If you're a local in an area and it's some small time kind of thing, yeah, okay, I understand. I normally buy a couple of beers from the local Tesco every night. Tonight I'm buying them from a mom and pop place 3 doors down. Past they played down the tourism part of the economy. Let's see here. All right. Anyway, let's see, where are we at for time? We're 80 minutes. Okay, we're 80 minutes in. Interesting. So anyway, that's the holidays here. What else? Okay, I want to read a couple of things. I don't think that's always true. There are quite a few people who live here who are people of color, and they don't pay double. Okay, I mean, yeah, maybe in some places, but a lot of times the people now, they're smart enough to know they can say, "Sorry, I'm not paying it." The average age of an expat in Thailand is 55 years old. 73% men, 26% women. Okay. 1.5% prefer to self-describe. Top reasons for moving: 19% to retire abroad, 12% found a job on their own, 11% sent by their employer. Top income group: 22% are 25 to 50,000 US, 19% 12,000 to 25,000, 14% 50 to 75,000. The average work week is 40.2 hours a week. 20% are part-time, 80% are full-time. The top sector is education, 18%. Coaching and consulting, 8%, and 8% manufacturing and engineering. The happiness level here in Thailand is 77% compared to 71% globally. And the overall ranking of Thailand as a destination for expats is 8th out of 52. The quality of life index, 35 out of 52. Ease of settling in, 11 out of 52. Working abroad, not so great, 45 out of 52. Personal finance index, it doesn't say any specifics about that, but 4 out of 52. And expat essentials index, 18 out of 52. And expat essentials, those essentials are digital life, housing, language, and administrative topics. I don't know what that is. Language is something that I don't know that it's a reason not to come here. Like, oh, I've got to learn the language. Some people think it's a really difficult language to learn. But I don't know that that's a reason not to come here. I mean, learn a few words, and what happens is, slowly but surely, you just build up a vocabulary. And this is an Internations, what do you want to call it, survey. The worst destinations for expats are Kuwait, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Cyprus, and Luxembourg. Japan, South Africa, Turkey, Italy, and Malta. Thailand ranks 8th out of 52. Finance and leisure options are no trouble for expats, but they struggle with their working life. Mexico, Indonesia, Taiwan, Portugal, Spain, the UAE, Vietnam, Thailand, Australia, and Singapore are the best destinations for expats in 2022. I'm wondering about Ecuador and also Malaysia. And there's got to be a couple more. Well, there's got to be a couple more in Europe. I don't know about Albania or any of these places because I haven't been there, but we'll see. It's not so miraculous, Jim. I mean, it's really about, it's kind of like going to the banks here. You're coming to a bank. Some of the banks are going to go, nope, we don't, sorry, cannot. And you're going to be like, why not? Cannot. Same thing with those national parks. Sometimes you go to a national park and I cannot. Sometimes you go, yeah, but let me show you this, let me show you that. And, and then some of them go, okay, no problem. I have it happen to me once in a while. I don't like it. Of course, when we went to the Emerald Lagoon down in where was it? Where is the Emerald Lagoon? Krabi? Or is it Nakhon Si Thammarat? When we went there, it was free for Thais because it was Songkran, and it was 200 baht for me. And I'm like, what's the deal? Well, this is kind of weird. I don't feel like reading this. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I know somebody that was from Malta. And they love it there. So, these are a few of the things here that, You have to consider. I mean, listen, like getting a bank account. Let's say that you are a retiree coming here and you want to get a bank account. You go in and you go, yeah, I'm going to be a retiree. I need to transfer my money into here. Sorry, cannot. You're like, why not? How am I supposed to? How am I supposed to retire here if you're not going to let me open a bank account? How can I transfer my funds here? What's the point of that? Why is it that they have such a problem with that? Well, the reason is because, fear. None of them want to be the bank that opened up and allowed the, money from somebody who's doing something illegal. There's another reason why people come here, and that is to pull off criminal enterprises or to hole up here. I'm glad my wife made me persist with getting a bank account. Such a great app and so easy to use. As I told you guys, you should be linking up with Line Pay. It will make your life a fair bit easier. Throw 1,000 baht on there or whatever, and once in a while, if you go, oh, I don't have any cash, or I only got 220 baht and it's 280. Oh, I got money on my Line Pay, or I got money on my Rabbit card. You can use your Rabbit card in connection with your Line Pay. It does make things easier, and it helps, and you can pay your electric and water bill with it up to 5,000 baht. So it is very convenient. You can also, charge your phone with it. What do you call it? Top up your phone. You can do all kinds of things. So, very useful. Let me see here, though. This quality of life. All right, I want to look at this here. Thailand is number 8. Yeah. Well, something else that people don't consider. I don't know. Can you do this in the United States or, say, Australia or the UK, where you go to the ATM, you don't have a card, and you use your phone and you withdraw money from the ATM using your phone? Is that possible in those places, like in the United States? As far as I know, it's not in the United States. I don't know, though. People are scared of using QR codes from what I've heard. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't. It makes things very easy. And now, many of the taxis have their QR code right in the back seat. Oh, so you're like, oh, I don't want to use my cash. And you just hold up your phone, boom, scan the QR code, boom, paid, done. You want to take money out from the ATM, you go to the ATM, cardless withdraw, hit the button on your bank app, withdraw without card, and you can withdraw money however you want. So that's great. I could buy a Coke from a vending machine with my phone. I don't know about ATM. Is race-based pricing illegal in Thailand? Well, I am not sure, but I'm looking at something here. I believe there are laws in place. Let's see here. Let me see what I saw here. This is not it. Discrimination refers to any discrimination on color, blah, blah, blah. This is internationally. Where is this here? I'm looking at the, what is this called? International Labor Organization. Yeah, that's probably not the best thing to look at. Constitution of Thailand in 2007 guarantees equality for all persons and between men and women, and prohibits discrimination on 12 grounds. The grounds of sex includes gender, sexual identity, and sexual diversity. Okay, women, they've advanced. However, the race laws face scrutiny. Let's see here what it says. Is that it? Oh, that's all they write. This little tiny bit? You gotta be kidding me. A positive development concerning Thailand's relationship with human rights in the country, increasing membership of United Nations treaties on the issue of race. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Unjust discrimination against a person on the grounds of the difference in origin, race, language, sex, age, physical, or health conditions. Okay, here's 2017. Let's see here. Racism in Thailand. Let me look at this. This is a little easier here. Racism in Thailand is a prevalent problem, but is only infrequently publicly discussed. Obviously, the ethnic minorities in Thailand, like the Hill tribe and the stateless people, they are indeed, and people like what are they called? I forget the name of the people in the boats. I'm blanking. The people, Moken. That's what it is. Moken people. Yeah, to enforce these laws, I don't know how anybody is going to expect them to enforce it when they have no campaign in place. There's none of this kind of thing going on here. Due to an increase of Russian and Eastern European tourists in Phuket, Russians have also been the target of xenophobia, with protests and banners saying Russians get out of Phuket, and a taxi blockade over suspected Russian transport drivers, illegal shops, and businesses. Other issues include the Singapore Tourism Board organizing a Songkran festival in Singapore without the endorsement of either Thai expats in Singapore or sponsorship from the Thai authorities. Why do they need that? It's their country. They can do whatever they want. Songkran is not something that Thailand has a monopoly over, and it can only be used in their country. I mean, there are variations of Songkran in Cambodia, and also in Myanmar. So I don't know what the problem is. In 2014, Thai officials cracked down on the Chinese tourists visiting the campus of Chiang Mai University due to their using buses reserved for students attending lectures and eating at the student cafeteria. Anti-Khmer sentiment already high due to border clashes over the Previhir Temple. That's where Longhorns and I went. It was crazy, but has been fanned by Sutep Togsuban, a yellow shirt leader. It was crazy because we actually went into a little bunker where the Thai soldiers were, and they were like, okay, look through the telescope and the binoculars, and you can see the Cambodian military on their side of the border protecting the border. You can see the soldiers. It's pretty interesting, but they let us. Okay, look at this. Check it out. So I'm not sure if that answers your question there, motherfucker. But you know, what about Japanese? Japanese tend to be very xenophobic. Sea gypsies are Moken, yeah. Jim, to withdraw money, you don't need your card. You can use your smartphone. Brilliant. I think it's brilliant. Now, I always bring a card just in case I can't go to it is specific to the bank. So if you're using Kasikorn Bank, you need and you want to make a cardless withdrawal, you got to go to Kashikorn Bank to make the withdrawal. You can't withdraw cardlessly at Bangkok Bank if you're trying to withdraw money from. Well, I think the answer is actually pretty clear. There may be a law in place, but it's not abided by. It's not implemented. It's not followed. They may say that it's being scrutinized. It's been scrutinized over the years, but I don't really think. Most people are like, you pay more, you got more money. But what happens? They want high-end people here, and the high-end people are going to go, no, I'm not going to come here then. So that's something else to think about. Thais are very nationalistic, yes. We were in the Cambodian bunker. That's right, sorry. We were in the Cambodian bunker, not the Thai bunker. We were in Cambodia. On the Cambodian side, not the Thai side. But they were all right. Those guys were okay. And, you had like this poor guy sitting there under this rock in a little bunker. That's where he slept. And the guy had like no shoes on, and he's just laying there on a little mat. That was one guy. And then there was the actual bunker where the soldiers were standing and sitting. So, but this is the thing. If you have a real problem with it, and you're going to be offended every time that you go to a place when they want to charge you more money, then don't come, or don't go to those places. Don't move here, but don't go to those places if you do. I mean, that's my way around it, and sometimes it's like there is no way around it. You just pay, and it sucks, but that's life. Everything is not perfect here. But I do think things have gotten a little bit better in some ways and a little worse in other ways. It's not. I would say that for people who live here and have been here for a while and who, they follow what's going on in the news with relation to foreigners, I would say there are a lot of people who, they have an attitude against the Thai government because they don't like what they see coming out of the mouth of the mouthpieces in the government. Well, I don't know. People always say this. Oh, we're guests here. Okay, I'm a guest. All right, I can understand that. When do you stop being a guest? Never. Are they guests in our country? I don't know. It's something to think about. They could close the whole country off to everybody, like they did many years ago, like Japan used to be. It's closed off, no foreigners. If you came in, it was like, oh my, wow. Can't believe they let us in, So, but I'm hesitant to say that everybody here who's staying here is a guest. I'm hesitant to say that. Because if you want their money and you want everything to be paid for by expats and tourists, all right, a tourist is a guest. You want to allow somebody to live in your country. You can't just go, oh, well, you are lucky to be living here. Okay, yeah, we're lucky, but you're lucky to have my money. You're lucky to be... Yeah, you're lucky to have our money, the expat dollar. And I don't think in some ways that they really appreciate that. Nor have, I would say that in some ways they don't even appreciate some of the tourist dollars. Now they might, but, 30% of all Australian residents were born elsewhere. Yeah, I would think so, Gennaro. I would think so. To me, it seems like they're a little bit. They could do better with their visa system. That's kind of how I look at it. I think I don't think that they set out to do things against foreigners. Oh, we hate these foreigners. All right, it's easy to say that. It's easy to go, oh, they just hate us all. No, they don't hate us all. I think most of the time, we're more of an annoyance. And, they have to, it's like two different ball fields that they have to look after. Oh, we got to make sure all these foreigners are happy. Oh, we got to make sure the Asian foreigners are happy. Oh, we got to make sure our own people are happy, and our own people come first, as they should. But when do you say to somebody, okay, you've got a family, you've been here for, let's say you've been here 50 years, and I know a guy who's been here, how long has he been here? 52 years. He's almost 80. I haven't seen him in a while. Uh, and he's married to actually a Viet woman who has Thai citizenship. So it doesn't matter, Dallo. That doesn't matter. You still got to go through the whole process, and it's a pain in the neck. And it's difficult, and if you're not working, it's damn near impossible unless you want to pay big money. If you're not paying taxes. Which is another thing, there's a lot of things here that you go, oh, I wonder why that's that way. Or why do they do this, and why is it they won't change this? Why is it so difficult to change the dual pricing? Because they don't want to. That's all. They don't want to. I guarantee you if they wanted to, they would release a statement. The Prime Minister has said that everyone here who is a foreigner needs to have equal pricing. Jim, I'll be honest, I have not met nearly as many of the loud, loud, obnoxious Americans that have no sensitivity to other countries and to travel in general. I've met a lot more obnoxious Chinese who are just totally clueless. It's not like they're trying to be obnoxious. I've met a lot more drunk Brits who are obnoxious. Every once in a while I see an American, yes, or I see an Australian, but for the most part, I don't see them nearly as much as, say, 30 years ago. Yeah, there are ways around that, Gennaro, but I did see that, and that's kind of, I believe that was started so that, uh, foreigners who are like 60, 70 years old wouldn't be marrying some 19-year-old girl just because it gives her a better life. Now, I don't know it's really their business to get involved in that, but, in some ways, maybe they're trying to protect their citizens, and so, I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know the process that they go through to be able to pass that kind of a law. I don't know what they went through. What if the woman's over 50? Go for it. Go for it. And if a Cambodian is over in the United States, they can marry whoever they want. So I guess it depends on where you want the marriage recognized. So there is something to be said for protecting the people and protecting women. I mean, obviously, in back in the day, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, uh, and you know, not Malaysia, Myanmar, Laos, they've all had their share of problems with that issue. Um, no, we know that. We know that Tom Yum guy. We know that. Well, I don't know why you're going to pay extra. There's absolutely no reason to pay extra at Pantip. No reason at all. Other than you say, okay, no, you get the price ahead of time and you go, you know, I mean, I've even said to many times, and now I don't really because I just don't give a shit. Because they want to be like that, I'll know. I'll find out and I'll know. But I will say, for all these things that we're talking about here, for this dual pricing, there have been times when I actually got a lower price than my wife. I'm like, really? You know, I'm talking like 5 baht, you know, which can be surprising. What are you doing, Sid? Sid, the nutcase cat. He wants the mangosteen. We have a box of mangosteen here. I think, you know, if they shore things up a little bit, first of all, they clean up some of the shitty canals, some of the smellier areas. Um, they stop with the blatant ripoffs, which, you know, okay, maybe they're working towards that. There are a few things that Thailand could do to make it a more attractive destination. They have everything in place, and you know, my concern at the beginning of the pandemic was that, well, 30% of the hotels in Phuket are permanently shut down. They will never open up again. Okay. Uh, so my thing was, how is the infrastructure, the tourism infrastructure, going to survive? How is it going to do? It seems to have done okay. I don't know. My wife would know better than I do, but I think it's done okay from what I've heard her say and from what I know. And I think it will, once things come back, I think it will get better. Now, here's the thing. I just heard the other day that there are some schools that are not going to open because the government has been saying, hey, the cases have been rising gradually. I saw, I think yesterday the cases went down, but the cases have been rising gradually. And while they may not reinstitute a mask mandate, they're starting to say things like we recommend a fourth shot. Some of the schools have already said we're not going to open to students. And so this is an issue that people are concerned about. We're concerned about, and we being my wife and I. What happens if things start to get better? Everything looks rosy, and for the next 6 months we're all right, and then for some reason something happens. And I mean, you know, you can always say what if, but this is the point. They just decide, okay, sorry, too bad, we're shutting everything down again. We're gonna do a little 2-week shutdown. I think people at this point are sick of it. They're over it. But if they do that, then what's going to happen to the tourism industry again? Yeah, there are new strains apparently. What is it? BA4, BA5, or 2.4, something like that. You know, and they've said in September, I think the number of cases is supposed to double from what it is now. So, you know. So you've made your decision, Gennaro? You know now? You know, listen, I would get another booster. I don't want to, but if it's a year from my last shot, I would get a booster. and then after that, another year. All right, if it's gonna if it's gonna keep me alive, it's not gonna keep me from getting really sick. Fine. From what I know, most people who have received their shots, the majority of people are not getting all that sick. However, there are a lot of cases that are not being reported, and the numbers are may not be. And this is, I mean, this is not rocket science. The numbers may not be what we think they are. And that's the whole thing. I think the governments around the world are completely full of it. They don't know. Fauci backtracked how many times now? It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't want to take a booster. I don't really want to do it, but you know, how many waves are we going to get? How many times is it going to really affect us? And you know, at this point, let's take our chances. Let's learn to live with it. I like that phrase. Learn to live with it. So, well, I've been to Borneo in Indonesia, Gennaro, and it's pretty cool, but I don't think I'd like to live there. Listen, I'm just a messenger, all right? Don't shoot me. All right, well, we're closing in on 2 hours here. Guys, I would appreciate it if, in one form or another, whether it's get yourself a shirt, whatever, click the like button, subscribe, however you want to do it. Um, Go down in the description, figure it out, help a brother out, show the love and all that good stuff. I'd appreciate it. Um, well, I mean, you know, these governments around the world that are talking about this. Well, Gennaro, you know, if I may recommend, why don't you go to a few places? You know, why don't you make a little map it out, figure it out. You can get some cheap flights over here in Asia. You know, the flights are very cheap, and if you reserve within a couple of days or like a week in advance, very easy to get a reasonably priced ticket. You know, why don't you check out Vietnam, check out a little Malaysia, check out um, you know, some spots in Thailand, even Indonesia. Take a month. Go spend a week in each place. Take, you know, a month and a half. Spend a week, a little more than a week in each place. To me, if I had to scratch, that's how I would approach it. You know, I told you guys a long time ago, for me, it was I had an irritating Indonesian woman that lived next to me, and I was like, I just don't want to go there. I'd prefer to go to Thailand because I know a lot of Thai people, and they're not as irritating. And from what I understand, Thailand's a great place, and they got Muay Thai and all this other stuff. So, well, you can have at it there, Gennaro. Um, as far as Chucky goes, last I heard he was in Paris. I don't know where he's in Europe for a little while, and then he's going to go back to the States, and he's going to come back here. And we are supposed to go somewhere first quarter in next year. He wants me to go somewhere, and I'm not quite sure, but South America sounds pretty good. You know. Well, you know, I would say the thing about Thailand is that yeah, you can go and you can stay in numerous places. You want to just do the usual route? Okay, there's 5 places, right? Bangkok, Pattaya, Phuket, Chiang Mai, and say Hua Hin. There's 5 right there. Spend 4 or 5 days in each place. Check it out. See what you like. But think about it from the perspective of living there, not as a being there as a tourist. Because if you are there as a tourist, they're all going to be great. They're all going to have their own personalities. If you're thinking about living there, then obviously they're going to be a little bit different. You're going to wonder, can I get this? Can I get that? How's it going to be to live here? What's the cost of living? Am I going to get tired of all this, hello, mister, you handsome, and all these other kind of stuff? You will get sick of it after a while. If you're living in Pattaya, maybe it's best not to live right down in the center of the action, which is what I said in Phuket. So there are ways to handle that. Then you can go to a couple places in Vietnam, check out Bali, check out a couple places in Malaysia. My buddy Steve is over in Malaysia right now. He likes it there. And, All right, hang on a second here. I'm getting a bunch of photos coming through. Oh, yes you do, Mr. Steve. How are you? Good of you to join us. You're talking about. Hang on a second. Oh, I'm dealing with multiple things. Oh, so you guys are together. Hey, good to see you guys hooking up, man. That's great. Richard and Longhorns. Wow, that's good. Good you guys met up. I think it's good. All right, let me see what I'm looking at here. All right, yeah, I don't want to look at that. This is. Sometimes it's just nice to remember how free we are, having to wear the. All right, well, let me see here. I can go back to my messages on here. Just on the other side, so I do. Jumped in. Scott, when you were doing your walk down to the beach, you said that an area would be good for a coffee shop and a good walk back to Starbucks. What was that beach? I thought it was. You're talking about in Patong? I thought it was Patong Beach, where I said my wife said, "Oh, I should open up a little coffee shop right on the beach here, not across the street, but on the beach." I think that's what I said, but I'm not sure. She may be interested in opening a drive-through. Even India. India is one of the cheaper places to live. I was just reading something about that. And Nepal is supposed to be one of the cheapest places in the world. Although I don't know about that, because maybe there are some places in Africa. Actually, that is a place that Chuck said to me, do you want to go to Africa or do you want to go to South America? And my first inclination was to go to Africa. And I did say to him, hey, Ghana is a place to go. It's supposed to be like the place to go it's the beginner's place to go in Africa, on the African continent. But good, bro. Just chilling, listening to you in the BG. The BG? What's the BG? All these acronyms. I've learned to wonder about so many acronyms now. The beer garden. Oh, yeah. There you go. Chilling in the background. Yes, the beer garden. Well, knowing Steve, he's probably not at the beer garden at 10 in the morning, 11 in the morning. Probably not. So, anyway. Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you're listening. Even though you don't particularly like root beer floats. Can you believe that? 2/4 Asian. He doesn't like root beer floats. Who doesn't like root beer floats? Those are so good. Yeah, Steve's been around lately. He gets around. He's in Sri Lanka now. Uh, Now he's in Malaysia, and if I can, at some point, maybe if we go to the south or whatever, I don't know. Depends on a lot of things. Um, but maybe I'll take the train into Malaysia. We'll see. Lots of stuff going on now. Now that things are opening up. Yeah, that's the problem with you Aussies. You don't even know what root beer is. I mean, come on. Get with the program, guys. Try out the root beer. A&W, baby. With some really good vanilla ice cream. Ugh. On a hot day. Oof. I'll have a video going up. I don't know if it's going to go up tonight or tomorrow. Video going up of uh, a little place that the wife and I stopped, and she, not me, ordered a chocolate waffle with whipped cream, Oreos, and strawberry ice cream. And she thought it was okay. I thought it was really good. But what was really cool, and what is very cool, is to watch how everything is put together. You know, kind of cool. And in the background, she's making crepes. The lady is making crepes, so that's good as well. You know. Yes, I know. To have a root, get a root. IBC, whatever. Listen, root beer, I'll take whatever at this point. I haven't had one in years. Leave it to Gennaro. Leave it to Gennaro to come up with something like this. You see, Steve, you come in and you stir up the shit. All about root beer. What are we going to do here? Anyway, the good thing is you can find root beer in Thailand, no problem. You can find all kinds of ice cream here. You can even get lots of good coconut ice cream. Fantastic coconut. If you like ice cream, you're going to get some good stuff. The one thing here that is not lacking, and I dare say it's probably the same in Malaysia, because I have not spent all that much time in Malaysia, food. The food in Thailand, you're never going to go wrong. You know. Well, I mean, I'm trying not to drink the soda, man. I want to stay away from soda. But on a rare occasion, I would have, like a special occasion, I would have a root beer float. And I thought I made some for my kids probably 10 years ago. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember, to tell you the truth. How we get on the subject of root beer. Root beer. Very good, Gennaro. You and several other people. God, I don't even know how many people are in Thailand right now. Danny's here. We got, what's his name? CJ. We got Dowlow. We got, yeah, I did say it. I can't even keep track of all the people that are here right now. We got Daniel, Danny, another Daniel, another Danny. Yeah, that's right. Steve has a video about root beer and a burger in A&W, which listen, I like A&W root beer. I don't have a problem. It's fine. It's good in a root beer float. But I never was big on A&W as an establishment, going in there and, like, wow, what a great fast food restaurant. Never was big on that. I did it one time really like Arby's and Jack in the Box. I don't know what's happened to those. And quite frankly, I'm trying to stay away from all that. I don't care about that fast food junk. How's the no caffeine thing? What no caffeine? I gave in. I thought, why am I doing this? I'm killing myself. After the first day, I had headaches, and I was like, I didn't feel. I was getting grumpy, and I was like, I need a coffee. And you know what? I had a coffee, and almost immediately I felt better. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that lasted about a half a day. I could try to go longer, but I just went, what does it matter? Listen, the wife and I went into Schmegdonald's the other day in Phuket because we were looking for a coffee shop. There were no coffee shops around where we were. We didn't want to walk back to where we knew the coffee shops were. So we saw Schmegdonald's. Actually, we went into the coffee club, and this is the coffee club that I was talking about, where we went into the coffee club and we're like, wow, it's really hot in here. And then we look up, and there's an air conditioner, and it's blowing out like warm air. They just had the fan on, they didn't have the AC on. And I'm like, this place is way too hot. And we left. We don't usually walk in and then walk out. Bo, do you like coffee? I don't know where she is. She may be walking around somewhere upstairs or something. But, she likes it, but it's not like. I mean, she has her coffee in the morning most of the time. Did she have a coffee? I think she had an iced coffee, an iced cappuccino that day. I had an espresso, and then she got the curly fries. And to say we were disappointed was putting it mildly. You see the picture up on the wall there, up on the top, up above where you look for the pricing and everything. Wow, look at those curly fries. They're busting out of the box. They're huge. You're like, wow. I'm like, wow, those look good. I go, she wants some fries. I go, why don't you get those? She goes, oh, okay. We get them, and they're not busting out of the box. They're tiny. And I'm like, what's this? And she's like, should I go back and complain to them about, hey, this isn't the same as the picture. What gives? We were disappointed. We were really, they taste fine, but they were tiny. And I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, I saw that. That's not even really, you can't even call that a burger. Now listen, I gotta say, we're talking about food. I'm trying to eat healthier. So guess what? I bought some lentils and I bought some black-eyed peas. I put the black-eyed peas in water, let them sit overnight so that it softens them up a little. And then I boiled them today. Cooked them for like 30 minutes. Paper thin. Yeah, it looked like it's all bun and no meat. But I cooked up these beans. And black-eyed peas have almost no taste, no flavor. And I'm like, I don't know. I got a big bowl of beans now. And I think I'm going to make a soup out of it. Like a vegetable soup with black-eyed peas in it. But let me tell you, just eating black-eyed peas plain, without some seasoning on them, they ain't that good. Or maybe I'm just not that good of a chef. I don't know. Arby's QN Jack in the Box have good curly fries. I haven't eaten a Jack in the Box in years. But, well, I'm going to. That's the plan. I cooked them up. They're edible now. But I'm going to put them in the thing here with a bunch of, with a little vegetable stock and some veggies and, cook them for a while to get some flavor into them. In-N-Out, man, I miss In-N-Out. You guys are getting me hungry because I haven't eaten a breakfast this morning. Yeah, I gotta cook those. We got a lot of vegetables. Listen, actually my wife found them. I don't know, Steve, have you ever had a long avocado? It almost looks like it's like a zucchini, except it has a little curve to it. We got some avocados. You know, Bo found some the other day, and she got two packs of them, like 6 avocados, and we ate them all up. We've been having avocado sandwiches on like really heavy wheat bread with some tomato, really good. But she got some more yesterday because I couldn't find them. She said, "Well, yesterday they didn't have them. Today they have them." And man, they're good and they're cheap. You know, yeah, I know they're traditional fare, but you know, like they're not traditional for me. You know, I don't usually eat black-eyed peas. You know, yeah, black-eyed peas is a yes, it's the name of a group. Uh, so, who has the best fries? Right here, baby. I cook up the best fries. Actually, we used to make fries here. We used to get a big bag of those frozen fries and cook them up. And then we started making our own from potatoes, but it's just too much work. And you need too many damn potatoes. Yeah, it's the same flesh. In fact, you know, if Bo walks by, I'll tell her to give me one. Yeah, we made some guacamole. We've put them on sandwiches, and they're really, really good. And the good thing is that they don't cost as much. I mean, you know, if you get an avocado here, it's 99 baht, which is like ridiculous. It's almost $3 for one avocado. These are like 3 or 4 for the same price. So, yeah, I haven't done the whole burger thing, and I thought I would do that here, but you know, I started looking at it, and I'm like, man, you know, every time I go, I'll be honest, you know, as I am, I speak straight. Um, Guacamole with mango. Okay, I'll see if I can get some mango. Which we probably can. I was gonna do the whole burger comparison here, but you know what, man? By the time I get out of the place, it's cost me $20 a pop, and that's not even transportation or anything. You're talking about 25, $30 every time I go out and get a burger to test it out and take video of it. And I'm just like, you know what? I just can't pay that. I refuse. I don't care if it's Prime Burger, Whataburger, Delicious Burger, whatever it is. It doesn't matter to me. Went to a restaurant with wife, been going there 7 years, treated like long lost family, sad. Discovered I have been charged 20% more. That really sucks. You've been going to a restaurant for years and you find out you're being overcharged. And that's why when you get a menu and they go, "Oh, here's the menu in English," you go, "No, I don't want this. Give me the Thai menu." That way you're going to get the Thai prices. As long as you can read, you know, the Thai. It's not that difficult to learn the numbers. Anyway, that's another thing here. You know, that is something that if you're a foreigner, I know a lot of people. Jono is one of them. He eats no fruit, and he really does not eat. I don't think I've ever seen him eat Thai food. So if you want Western food here, there are plenty of places, plenty of options. You know, I'll treat you to a Ramly burger when you get here, buddy. I like them. I like them greasy rats without tails. The place outside Nana sells. That burger place, that burger stand that is outside of uh, Nana Plaza at night. Their burgers were the bomb because they're nice and greasy. You know, the grease is what tastes good. Ramley is amazing. You eat. Is You Hunt We Cook still open? It's open, but I never see anybody there. Seriously. Uh, I don't think I've seen I probably see one customer out of 3 months. In 3 months, I might see one customer sitting there. That's it. And there's, you know, the place isn't hopping like it used to be. So They wrap the burger in an egg. Okay. I've made some meatloaf with egg on top, but never had a burger in an egg, like an omelet. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, there's another reason to consider moving to Thailand, and that is the fact that, if you're a Westerner and you don't really like Thai food, guess what? You can come here and eat all the Western food you want, as long as you got the dough. It's not always expensive, especially if you buy it, make your own, that kind of stuff. You can save a bit, but it can be expensive if you're eating out all the time, even at fast food restaurants. Like an omelet, it's a melee thing. The honest opinion, Thailand and C virus has destroyed it. Genuine Thailand inflation is no different to Europe. $200 return flight Amsterdam versus $15, and the hookers are the same price but hotter. Yeah, I was kind of saying that like that's not a good reason to come here anymore. A long time ago, maybe it was a good reason, and it's more like, okay, it should be the icing on the cake if that's what you want. But I would say you can't say that it's the virus that has destroyed Thailand, because first of all, Thailand is not really destroyed; it's changed. And like Longhorns has said to me, if you don't know how it was in the past, you're not missing anything. And I'm telling you, this place now compared to 30 years ago, huge difference. Huge. Huge. Huge difference. But I don't know that, granted, in the tourist areas, things weren't quite as cutthroat as they are now. There's a lot of competition, and I guess there's a lot of competition from the outside, and also internationally, and also from the inside. There's a huge amount of competition. But I don't know that you can to say that genuine Thailand has been destroyed is that's how can I say this? I think that's a huge stretch to say that, because I can go a lot of places and find genuine, authentic Thailand as it was years ago. You know, so this one was from Carlos. I like to wear it and because it's comfortable. Really, I don't really care about the FBI thing. Doesn't do a thing for me really. I don't look like an FBI agent. I don't think I could ever pass for one. I look more like a thug if I was in a suit than an FBI agent. Gennaro wants to put ice. Oh God. Well, everything's possible, Gennaro. I think that's the last thing that you really want. That's the last thing you want to worry about, whether you're here or you're at home. Women, remember that once you get into it, you're in it. You got to deal with all the stuff that comes along with it. And some of you guys, I don't really think you know what you're getting into. Gennaro, I know you do, but I would still say be careful. Tourists would not know those places. They'll just know icons. I don't think that's true. There are places they can go, but the people are going to be very friendly and authentic with them. It doesn't necessarily mean being authentic does not necessarily mean going to a place. All right, Steve, you take it easy. I'll be wrapping up shortly here. You take it easy. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch, I'm sure. Just because of just because a place is a touristy area does not mean that everybody there is less than authentic. What it means is you're going to get less of that. There's less of that to go around. And like I said, with Phuket, one of the things, and I can't remember who said it, but when I was thinking about it, I thought, wow, he's right. And that is that the prices of the street food are quite a bit more than you'll pay elsewhere. And they don't need to be charging those prices. They're doing it because they can get away with it. And because foreigners are going to go, oh, well, okay, so this is 80 baht. In another part of the country, it's, 40. The massages, the other day, they were 250 baht an hour. Here, they're 150, 180. That's because it's a tourist area. Okay, so, I don't know, dude. I think that there are some tourists that are hitting places you don't think about. They're hitting places that, you, as an someone who may be experienced here, may go to. But I would say that, I know some people that never leave, like, Sukhumvit Road. That's all they go to. They never go anywhere else. And then I know some people that are going to places that, listen, Longhorns went to the Prey Vihear in Cambodia. Now, that is a tourist destination, but you know what? There's not a huge amount of tourists there. And a lot of them are Cambodian tourists. So, what does Soy 38 have to do with the price of tea in China? I mean, really. What does that matter? I don't understand. The tourists go all kinds of places, pal. I can tell you. And I know because I've taken some of them to places that they would never have gone if they were just your standard. I want to go see the Emerald Buddha or something like that, According to my wife, supermarket prices inflated too. They are. They are. And I've said it, and, I don't know how many people here, but like for chicken, it used to be 86 baht for 400 grams. Now it's at least 116, 120 baht. That's a huge increase, okay? Prices are rising. And the value is still here. The cost of living is still relatively good, but it is getting more expensive. And I just saw an article the other day that said, is Thailand getting too expensive for expats? So when people start asking that question, then, you got to believe that that's something to consider. Dude, there is street food all over the place, okay? Really, I don't understand what your point is. You can find street food everywhere in Bangkok. Even, listen, on Sukhumvit, it used to be right there, you'd be walking from, say, Nana, you'd walk down the street, you're passing up all kinds of vendor booths and where they're selling, shitty little merch or shirts or whatever, and then there's food and there's all kinds of stuff. So, it's going to change. The place is always going to be changing. I'm just going to ignore that comment. Gennaro, I could teach you to cook that. It's so easy. Really, I could teach you to cook that. And that way you could cook it yourself. You never have to worry about it again. Andy, good morning. How you doing? What's happening? Anyway, we're getting up there in time. I got about 7 minutes left. 6 minutes left. So if you got something to say it or forever hold your peace. Some people will come here, they will never eat street food. Never. They will not eat street food. Ugh. Gennaro, you can have at it at that place, but I can tell you that it is ordinary. You can find that. You could go outside of your hotel and there's a Pat Kapow little shop right there, or stall that's selling Pat Kapow, and you're going to find the same quality. It's not outstanding. It's not like, wow, we got to go there. It's special Pat Kapow. It's not. It's ordinary. Really. And I'm just being honest. I'm not, I'm not just saying that to, say something negative about his place. It's not. But if you want it, go there. Okay, great. Have at it, Gennaro. Give Scott a thumbs up unless your thumb is broken. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And it doesn't cost you 1 red cent to leave a thumbs up or subscribe. Let's see. I only eat street food. Yeah, I don't only eat street food. Hang on a second. Wife refuses to eat street food due to no hand washing facilities. A point to remember. Well, you could always just bring a little bottle of hand cleaner. I mean, not a big deal. Street food is great, but will give a heart attack and Hep C. That's really. Follow the Malin rule. Go to places where you see people. Go to places that look clean, as opposed to filthy places. If you see a place and there's a lot of people there, you can probably go there and eat without concern. If you do have a problem, don't go and buy the antibiotics right away. Let yourself shit it out, and guess what? You probably won't have any more problems from then on. But I just don't see, Hep C. I mean, you should have a Hep shot. And cooking supposedly Aussie beef. There are some, I forget what it was that I was going to get the other day. Well, Gennaro, what do you think you're going to get it in a restaurant? You think you're not going to get reused oil? I mean, really? Yeah, I mean, you're saying this, but you'll eat in a restaurant in America. But, as far as your hands go, bring some hand cleaner. Bring some wet wipes. I find it really hard to fathom that people won't eat street food. They're basically like little restaurants, except they're mobile. Thai food isn't really that healthy. Well, you have a point. You have a point. You can make it healthier, though. And you can eat things like vegetables and all that. I have some footage from Phuket about some stuff and some photos and stuff like that we ate. Some food that we ate. And it was it was healthy. Never had a problem eating street food. Go where the locals are, my motto. That's right. And Andy and I had a nice lunch. And we ate, I don't know, we ate until we were really full. I don't remember. I know we had khao khao mu. And it was quite good. Pork dish. I remember after that. Maybe some pad thai or something, I don't remember, but it was very, very good. Yeah, I mean, I think you're missing out. If you don't get a little street food, you don't have to eat it all the time. Who wants to eat the same dish all the time? I don't. I mean, but I think, it's worth a try. If they're busy, that's a sign. It's okay. Only time I got sick in Asia was from a restaurant. If they leave out the sugar palm, it is much better. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about when you eat out. You can't control. We were talking about this. My wife and I were talking about it because we went out and we had some dishes and we were like, these are really good, and we wouldn't normally eat them, and this is not really how we want to eat. We want to eat a little bit healthier than this. However, the place was good, the food was excellent, and we decided to give it a go. I believe I said in one of the streams, or the last stream, it was just macaroni and cheese, but it was like, a very good cheese, and then it was with chunks of lobster in it, and it was fantastic. It was really, really good. Now, that's not a Thai dish, but they had plenty of Thai dishes. I would have eaten their Thai food too. Wouldn't have mattered, Street food, they're busy with something. You also get to see how fresh the ingredients are and see it being prepared. Well, that's why I like to prepare my own. Like, I made the black-eyed peas, and I can make a soup. I can put them in salad. I can do whatever. Thailand is dying. Everyone dying? I don't think it's gonna die, pal. I hate to tell you this. I hate to disagree with you. The mongers are not the only reason people come here. They are one of the reasons that people come here. Sure, and again I say it's it's icing on the cake. However, to say Mexico would be better, oof. Mexico is it's an alternative. That's what it is. Just like Ecuador. Some people are going to like Ecuador more. Some people are going to like Thailand more. It's as simple as that. In Mexico, I don't know if it's cheaper because I haven't been there in a while and I haven't really been looking at the stats. I know that Mexico rates higher. I don't know really. I don't know if I would want to live in Mexico. I mean, yeah, there are some places I could live in. It would be relatively safe, and you don't have to worry and all that other kind of stuff. But to be honest, I'd probably rather live in Ecuador. I got sick in Malaysia, never in Thailand. Fried chicken is just as good as southern fried chicken. One of the great things about buying seafood is it's usually still alive, even at Tesco when they have it. Thai government only want rich for long. Let's see how that goes in dual price. Well, where have you been? They already shot down the dual-priced hotels. That's already been done away with. It's not going to happen. They've already said, no, we're not going to do that. Okay? Now, could it happen in the future? Of course it could. Okay. But for now, at least, it's not going to happen. The very idea that they proposed that is something that I don't particularly like. The fact that the Thai government only wants rich foreigners, guess what? So does every other country. I wish you guys were all rich and you were contributing, $500 in the super chats or through PayPal all the time. I wish that. Oh wow, man! I want only rich people. Well, guess what? That's what they want. But guess what? It's probably not going to happen. I mean, really, it's not going to happen. Oh God, the icing on the cake. I got to say that over and over again just to torture Gennaro. Icing on cake. Oh, and comes for the mongers. So Mexico ain't cheap. Whatever. Go where you want. You want to go to Mexico? Go. I'll take Thailand. For me, this is my home. Maybe the airfares are keeping tourists away from Europe, USA, lots of Aussies going to Asia, Bali. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Just because you want something high-end doesn't mean you're going to get it. Just like I said, hey, everybody here, you know what? Why don't you send me $1,000 each through PayPal? Make it 5, make it 10. Okay? Because I know we're all really filthy rich here. Well, guess what? You know that's the tip of the triangle. It's a very small amount of people. There are a few people that will ever do that. Not necessarily for me, but they're not going to fork over the money to live here. If you look at the requirements and why would they do it? Where's their value? They get a better value and higher end places to live for their money elsewhere. You know? So, I mean, we could talk this until we're blue in the face, and you know, yeah, okay, it's all based on opinion, but just because you want something doesn't mean, you know, I mean, Junior Soprano wanted to bang Angie Dickinson. Never happened. So, I mean, you know, I'm sure Longhorns wants, I don't know who's the big Chinese superstar, Korean superstar. He may want somebody like that, but guess what? It ain't going to happen. He may want, what's her name? Lalisa. I don't know. Did he really? Polly Walnuts died? I didn't see anything about that. Oh, well, this was 3 days ago. I didn't know that. Wow. He was 79. That is so wild. You know, he died in an assisted living facility. Wow. Well, you know, all gotta go sometime. It's sad, and he was only, you know, I mean, 79 nowadays. You know, sometimes people live a lot longer than that, but I don't know why, because he, you know, he seemed to be fairly fit and all that. You know, he prided himself in that, and so that's too bad. As they say in The Sopranos, at least he didn't suffer. Prices in Vietnam have gone up for sure, but that's worldwide. Still a lot cheaper than Western countries. You know, this is the thing. Eventually, those prices around the world are going to go up so high that even though it's cheaper, people are going, it's too damn expensive. Yes, he died. Beer in the UK and fast food is cheaper than Thailand. Oh, God. 40-year-old washed up bar. Oh, Jesus Christ. You know you're full of shit, right? I think you just like trying to rattle my cage. Mr. Mitch, what's going on? How's it going? There's a million things you can take you out in old age. And what I always say is that, you know, he may have had some underlying issues and they start stacking up one upon another, and before you know it, there's just too many. Your body can't handle it, and then one day you don't wake up. So, you know, but 79, I thought, I don't know, for some reason I thought he was going to live to be like 85, 90 years old. I mean, look, Tony Soprano, you know, he's been gone for a long time now. James Gandolfini. Anyway, back on the subject here for a few more minutes. Let's see. You can, you know, I see the negativity, at least from Captain Karaka. There is some negativity about Thailand, and I understand some people are going to have that. Some people are going to believe that, hey, there's so many better places than this country. From what I've seen firsthand, from what I know, Yeah, this is a flawed country. But what country isn't flawed? So it still is a balancing act. It's still about balance. Do the positives outweigh the negatives? To me, they do, and and I feel I'm fortunate because I live here with my wife and kids. So, if it wasn't that balanced, and I was like, if I was living in some country and I went, man, I absolutely hate it here, that would be rough. You know. Well, that's why I say being a tourist is not the same um, as living in a place. But I've lived here, you know, almost 28 years. And I've seen the good and the bad. And, like, to me, you ride it through. If it's that bad, you don't. You say, all right, later, Gator, I'm out of here. All right, Jim, take it easy, man. Good night, Wesley. Florida. I don't travel for beer and fast food or 40-year-old bar girls. 40-year-old bar girls. My God, dude, if that's what you're pulling, you're in bad shape. Seriously. Because I can tell you that's not how it is. And I'm sure Longhorns and many others in this stream would concur. $3,000 for 2 weeks in Thailand? Dude, what planet are you on? $1,500 a week is over $200. Now I don't know if you're including the airfare. I don't know, but you're saying $400 for a week on a Greek island. What Greek islands? Oh, the flight is $1,500. Well then, yeah, okay, I understand that. I don't know where you're coming from that it's $1,500. I forgot there's a lot of old guys in the stream. 40 is young for people. If you're in Europe and you're going to go and you want to stay in Europe, okay, great. No, but he paid $1,500 for his ticket to come to Thailand, and that is something that you got to figure into the cost. And that's why I say, for some people, if they live in the United States, they'll go to Mexico. They're not going to come to. They're not going to come to Thailand. Some people will, some people won't. From the United States, I never paid $1,500 for a ticket. I'm still waiting for more information from the captain. Yeah, and let's face it. If you are getting that, if that's what you are after, that's because you want that. You don't have to get that. That's just nonsense. You paid what? The same? Flight to Vietnam return, 2 people, cost us 1,800 Thai Airways. That's $900 a person. Okay. I paid 1,600 US when I came out last year. Weren't that many flights. I had to come into Thailand. Okay, so that's a little different, and because of the times, yeah, okay. But if he's talking about recently, and I'm still waiting for the info. I'm waiting for the 411, pal. Okay. But again, that's Yeah, okay, so it's going to cost a lot. You know, for some people, it's going to cost a lot. And for others, it's not going to cost as much. You know, not everybody is coming from Australia or the United States or Europe. There are other people coming from, you know, I mean, why do you think the Indians like it so much? It's probably cheap to come from India. And, you know, Greece is a, you know, a great place to go. It's a nice place. There's some beautiful places there. Uh, but yeah, I'd like to know. I like to know. You know, what was the breakdown on a daily basis after the airfare, and what did it go for? Excluding air. Well, see, not everybody does that there for on travels. I mean, if you're spending that much, you should have a great time. I mean, we didn't spend quite that much in Phuket, you know, per day, what the breakdown is. But we spent more than we thought we would. Depends on budget flights or full service, how much. Of course, the flights are always something that, you know, gotta go. Gotta go take the dogs out. Or he's gotta take a dump or something. All right, Longhorns, take it easy. You can save so much money if you're not traveling in the country much. Huh? I don't understand that. What's that mean? Traveling in the country? At 411 is the Thai Airways had 40% of its aircraft. Want anyone here to get me a flight from New York to Bangkok in the next 2 months for less than 2,000? No, Jack, them blue buses are cheap. Huh? I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about. Uh, all right, I just did a real quick search. Leaving August 7th, coming back on August. What is it? August. Where is it? I think it was like August 14th. 56,000 baht. So divide by 36. That's about 1,500 bucks. So there you go. Some of the flights. All right, let me see here. Let me change something here. Some of the flights in Thailand are less expensive than like taking a train now or bus, which is pretty crazy. Okay, you really want that? It's even cheaper. 51,034 baht, my friend. That's JFK to Narita, the Suvarnabhumi. 51,034 baht. So that's not $2,000. $2,000 is, 72,000 baht. I might say to the missus before we head home from Vietnam, want to head over to Bangkok for a few days? I wonder what the answer will get. Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should. Hey, honey, let's go over to Bangkok for, 2-3 days. It's 1,500. I don't know what you're talking about, Captain Karika. It's 51,034 baht. Divide by 36, and you'll figure out the price. I saved my money on trips by building my girlfriend a house in Isa, and I have no hotel bills. Oh, God. That's nice. I made a mistake of flying to Thailand via Hong Kong, and much better paying a little more than going direct. Let's see here. What is it? It's 36.2 right now. So let's just say 36. 1,400, say it's $1,417 to say 1,420. Yeah, but you just said, oh, I challenge anybody to get a ticket for 2,000 or less. Well, I did. Okay, but yes, I understand what you're saying, and yes, it is more expensive now. Well, that's kind of to be expected. You can't change change the gist of your conversation from, oh, it's $2,000 to now, oh, I can't get 1,000. That's not what you said. But again, I understand, and yes, you're right. It's more expensive now. It's to be expected, really. And all these companies want to recoup their revenue. You know, I used to fly for 500 to 700 from LA. You can't get that anymore. At least not now. Well, how much did we pay for that Chinese airline when we flew to America? How much was it? Yeah, 40,000 baht back then. So it was about 1,150, $1,200, something like that, and that was before the pandemic. So anyway. I think this is part of the whole subject, which is the reasons to come here and how it's going to cost more money to go anywhere, which is why I think Thailand is really going to have a hard time to get anywhere near the number of tourists that they had back in 2017, 18, 19, whatever. You guys are bad. Anyway, if you like this stream, once again, if you like this stream, consider helping support the channel with a membership, with a contribution. I know some of you guys do. Thank you very much. I've talked about this before, but I think that in the future, it's just going to get more and more expensive. It's going to be more of a pain in the neck. It's not going to get easier. I think these governments love to have the control that they have, and they don't want to give it up. And I gotta say, I was in the airport, and the whole thing about going through the line, and that was very easy this time. There weren't many people. Because it's not really a developing country anymore. That's why. But I understand, why pay $3,000 when I can go for $1,000 and have a great holiday in, say, Hawaii or wherever? I understand. And that's why I'm saying I don't think the numbers are going to come back quite as quickly as they like to think. Anyway, I got to go. All right, you guys This has gone on long enough. We could beat this like a dead horse. Really. We go over and over and over and over again. And the bottom line is, you know, what is this? Let's see here. You ain't been to Thailand, have you? I don't know. Well, thank you, Dallo. Appreciate it. Just because you put Chingla doesn't mean shit. He's just asking you a question. You know, you can call it a developing country, and technically, it still is. Well, thank you very much, Kun Andy. I appreciate that. And you know, you're one of the ones who is consistently, you're always there helping me out, and I appreciate that. So thank you. I wish other people would be that. I'm not saying that you're being negative. I'm saying that some of the stuff that you're saying, and you sound like somebody else that used to come in here under a different name, who I'm not going to mention. I don't think that you're being negative. I think when it comes to the fact, I think everybody's been saying this for quite some time now. Why would people pay more money to come to Thailand if it's going to cost so much more that the value is not there? So people can go to Mexico, they can go to Ecuador, they can go to Costa Rica, they can go to Brazil, they can go to a lot of places. It's going to cost them less money from the United States, for instance. And in Australia, they'll go to Bali. In Europe, they may go to Ibiza, right? They may go to other places. They may go to Albania. It's going to cost them less to get there. It's going to cost them around the same amount per day to be there. So overall, they have a great time, and they don't have to fly 18 hours, 20 hours, and they're paying less money. So I understand that concept. I don't consider that negative. It is what it is. But see, that's the thing. Not everybody is concerned about paying a little bit of extra money to get here. Some people really want to be here. You know, for somebody like me, hey, I'm here and I've been here and I'm going to stay here, and, you know, it's the way it goes, you know. Once you're here, that's the thing. Maybe what's going to happen is people are going to stay here for longer periods of time. They're going to come here, and instead of being here for 2 weeks, they're going to be here. They're going to try to be here for 2 months. Maybe something has changed. So that's something else to consider. It doesn't have the same cultural experience as Thailand. It's, it's more expensive. And while it's great because you save the money on the airfare, you pay in other ways. It's about what you want. Bermuda, been there. Bahamas, been there. You know, St. Croix, been there. Done that, but I don't live in the United States, so you know. What do you mean they don't want Europeans in America? I think this is a perception because of some of the things that have come out from the government, which I understand, but you cannot take everything that they say as being the gospel for their entire government, which is something you have to remember. Just because Anutin comes out and says something that sounds negative, just because they say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Listen, most of the people here, they don't give a shit. They just want to make a living. And if you come over and you're decent with them, they're going to be very decent with you. So, you know, I saw some Americans, I saw some Europeans down in Phuket. I see them around town, you know, and if you come here and you want to be here for a bit, I think it's a great place, you know. Well, one thing that I have said is that one thing that I have said is um, that Thailand has what's the word? It's been done to death. Everybody and their mother's been here, including mine. It's true. Everybody and their mother's been here. People know about the country. A lot of people have fond memories. They want to keep coming back. This place has a way of drawing you back. Because it is so nice. There are so many different places to go, but it is becoming prohibitively expensive, especially when you add in the price of airline tickets. And so that's something to consider. And for some people, that is the breaking point. That's when they go, it's just not worth it to me. I just can't afford to pay $1,600 for an airline ticket when I used to pay $700. I can't afford that extra $900,000, whatever it might cost. So I understand that. I'm excited more flights are on offer from Utapao. Now things are opening up. I can get to Udon without going through Bangkok first. Experience Thailand, they make it hard to stay unless over 50. Well, you can get an elite visa, you can get your ED visa. There are other ways. It's just a matter of are you willing to do them. And some places, it's a lot easier to get that visa than others. I don't think that the chat is upset. I think that it's a realistic viewpoint to say that Thailand probably is not what it used to be and probably will never be the same again. But I think there's still many, many people that love the country, love the people. But these are different times. And, there are many other places, and they're fighting to get expats and to get tourists to go there. Listen, I would have never heard of the Maldives 30 years ago. Would have never heard of them. Guess what? Now I know it's a place to go. Hey, it's a place I want to see. I always knew about Tahiti and those kind of places, but again, those to me are prohibitively expensive. Those are a higher end destination. So yeah, everybody, that's the thing. Where's my... There we go, John. That's how you do it. Rock your hat, baby. Show the love. If you love the country, when it comes down to it, you got to take everything with a grain of salt and just go, hey, every place has their good points, their bad points. Their COVID response is frightening. How's it frightening? Enlighten me on that one, because I've never been frightened. I may not have liked everything that they do, but I wouldn't like it if I was in the States or whatever. People who live there for over 10 years. Well, I've been here for a long time, buddy. I don't understand what you mean. What's frightening? What is so frightening? And as far as Thailand still loving you, I would say, if you're a tourist, okay, yeah, they love you. They're going to love you whether you're rich or whether you just come here and you spend a little money. The government's attitude changes like the tide. Seriously. Depends on who's in power, which is something else that I haven't brought up, is that Prayut has to go before the parliament, and he's going to get people, they're trying to figure out, is he going to get a vote of no confidence? Now, I don't think he's going to get that, but he's still going to have to go, he's going to have to go into the elections next year. That's not all that long from now. And we'll see what happens. That's something, now that is something that for me, if I was going to move, honestly, if I was going to move over here now, after following everything that's transpired with him in power, I would probably want to wait until the elections to see how things went, and then I would make a final decision. You know. Well, yeah, that's another thing, Dowlo. You know, I mean, how many people that are older really care about anything other than their family and friends? What's really important? I don't care if the government loves me here. I don't need them to love me. I don't need their love. I need them to tolerate me. The United States government doesn't love me. So what's the difference? And I get to vote there. You know, and they still don't love me there. My government doesn't love me. Andy, take it easy. We're forcing the vax. Nobody's forcing the vax. Nobody's forcing the vax here. You don't want the vax, you don't get it. Now the mask, that's a different story. Oh God, Neurojack, you're so far off. You ain't got a clue, pal. I'm sorry, you don't have a clue. Nobody was forcing anybody to get vaccinated. In fact, they were forcing people in the United States more than they're forcing people here, if anything. As far as the masks go, granted, you needed to wear a mask when you went places. And even now, people are still wearing masks. But if you didn't wear a mask, it's not like people were coming up to you, like in the United States, and wanting to beat you up, or actually trying to beat you up, or beating you up, or hitting you, or belittling you. That didn't happen, so I don't know what you're talking about. Dude, you should be here before you start making these presumptions. What you hear is, from what I see, is not the truth. Nobody's forced vaccinations on anybody here. Maybe some of the staff in certain places, well, hey, if you want to work here, you got to get vaccinated. Okay. But it's not like they're dragging people in. So, you know. And Bangkok being pretty much shut down for 3 years, maybe shut down to the outside. Not for 3 years, because it hasn't even been 3 years. Yeah, he may be mixed up with Australia. What government loves you? Tell me that. What government truly loves you? What government is going to bend over backwards for you? Now, here's the thing. The United States government's bending over backwards for this Brittany Griner. She's guilty. She's never said, I didn't know that the pot was there. It wasn't mine. She's never, ever said that. And yet the U.S. government, in their flawed, I want to say the F word, but I'm going to restrain myself, in their flawed, screwed up way of thinking, seems to think that because it's Russia, they can make it seem like she deserves to be released. She broke the law. They have mandates in place when she has to be seen by a court. She was seen. They followed their laws. I hope they treat her fairly. I hope they give her a fair trial. I don't know that they will. However, if she's guilty, she's guilty. You don't need to go and try to save her. Why does she get saved, but other people there, they're not getting saved? So, you know, when it comes to the government loving you, I haven't got an idea why. The government only loves you if it serves them. I got a hard-on for every government. Because most of the time, and you know the thing is that some people may try to do things, they may try the best they can to do the right thing, and it's never going to happen because the system will only allow what it wants to allow. And that means what's good for them, to keep them in power, to make them money, to make them richer, and also to at least help publicly to make them look better. So, there we go. You want your government to love you? You want Thailand to love you? Why? Your own government doesn't love you. It's ridiculous. All right, we gotta go, man. This stream's been way too long, and I've been yapping too much. So, hit the thumbs up, please. Subscribe, all that good stuff. I've already said it. Yada yada yada. Consider joining as a member. I'm gonna say, please consider joining as a member if you haven't done so already. You know, I'll talk to you when I talk to you. No one forced the first 2 injections either. No one forced anybody to get a shot. That's why there are still a lot of people who have not received their vaccinations. Headed to the market to get a 55 baht lunch followed by a 20 baht plate of sapa. Then for a walk on the beach with some beautiful Thai ladies and some friends. Take care, Scott Allnich. That's it. Rub it in, Mr. Midge. I told you I don't view it as negative. I view it, I don't agree with a lot of what you say. That's all. And that's okay. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later, all right? I'll never get out of here. I'll just keep on yapping, and you guys will keep on typing. So remember what I said, and I'll see you when I see you.